Hello to all my Fenton friends and colleagues. This is Mike Laudermith of the Science Department. I'm a first-year instructional coach this year, and I wanted to prepare a little bio video to give you an idea of my background, what I'm excited about this year, what I'll be studying and working on in my classes, but also some of the things I want to learn about, and hopefully some of the things I can share with you this year that you might be excited about trying in your classroom as well. Please forgive me as I go through this. This will be a very extemporaneous video. I've got a couple notes here that I'll be looking at and referring to, but kind of a stream of consciousness style seems to be how I do these things best, at least for this kind of an audience, not necessarily my students. My background. I've been at Fenton now for 14 years, teaching science, biology, and chemistry mostly. It's the only place that I've ever taught. Back when I was in college at Wittenberg University, go Tigers, I was a major in biology. I studied science. I loved science. It was my favorite topic in school. I knew that's what I wanted to study when I went to college. Had no inclination or really any plan whatsoever of ever being a teacher. I didn't take a single education course as an undergrad. After graduating, I actually became a lab technician. I worked at the pathology lab at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood for about 3.5 years. It was a great job. I liked the people that I worked with. It was certainly important work. Got to participate in some medical research. But I'll tell you what, it was the exact same job, the exact same routine, day after day after day after day. I was good at it. I could do it well. I got to the point where I could pretty much sleepwalk my way through the job. Occasionally there were interesting parts where I got to help, fellows and residents work on research projects, and that was kind of fun, but that was out of the norm, definitely. That was not my usual day. And I'll tell you the truth, handling strangers' urine specimens, not as fun as you might think. That was a big part of my daily routine. So I did that for about 2.5 years and realized, you know what? This is what this job is always going to be. It's important work. It's not like this is going to change. So if I ever want to move up or move on here, I was going to have to get more training in something. And the more I thought about it, I realized what I had most enjoyed up to that point in my life, what I was really good at was school. I knew how to be a success as a learner. And I thought, you know what? I've never lost my passion for learning. Maybe I can do something with that. Maybe I can instill that in some others. Maybe I'll have something to contribute. So I went to National Louis University, spent a year getting my certification, spent another year after that getting my master's, and ended up getting hired here at Fenton. And it's been great since. It's been a wonderful opportunity to work with some outstanding educators, learning some new techniques along the way, but also building up my own knowledge through my own research and some of my own efforts. So what am I excited about now that I'm an instructional coach? Well, let me tell you, first of all, what's happening in chemistry this year. The chemistry team has adopted a brand new curriculum called chemistry modeling. It's been tried at a couple other schools, notably in this area at Wheaton-Warrenville South. It's entirely based on student collaboration. Every day they're sitting in a group of 4, problem solving, planning labs, carrying out investigations, and presenting their findings to the class. So right there in this whole curriculum, you've got the 4 C's of 21st century education, 21st century learning. Super excited about that. I've already seen some great collaboration in my classes. I've also seen some not so great attempts at doing this work. So it's going to be a learning experience for me this year, but I'm happy to talk about that and what I'm doing to try to get my students to become better collaborators and co-workers. Technology, of course. Since a couple years back when my classroom was one of the pilots, before we actually went to one-to-one Chromebooks, I got to play around with that. The school was kind enough to send me over the summer to a Google workshop where I got 2 intense weeks of training and learned how to use Google Docs and Sheets and Forms. And I really took to it right away. I thought, you know what? This is a way to make the teacher's life easier. I'm ashamed to say it, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. This is going to make my life easier. And I think a lot of people probably first approach the technology in that way too, and there's nothing wrong with that. But since then, I've found ways to augment and modify some of my lesson plans to actually better incorporate the technology. And I now use it constantly for formative assessment and data collection. I use it as a way for students to get information to me as part of daily check-ins. And I'm using it now, taking more classes to earn my Teaching with Technology endorsement, learning about new apps, a couple of which I've already tried this year. So if you just want to have a conversation about technology, well, of course, go see Mike Barago, but I'm learning some new stuff too and trying it out in my classroom. The differentiation work, something that the chemistry team did a lot with last year. We tried to differentiate all of our quizzes, all of our tests, and incorporate that into a new system of grading with retake opportunities. I'm excited to keep working on that, trying introducing some of that into biology this year, also bringing in some more of the modeling inquiry-based learning. And probably the other big thing that I'm working on this year, back in the spring, I had an opportunity with some of my colleagues to go to a conference in Rhode Island on blended and personalized learning, which is using a combination of technology and more traditional classroom methods to help students learn at their own pace, in their own style, often through assignments of their own choosing, but still meeting the same level of rigor and achieving the same learning objectives. So I've done some work with that already. If you saw the presentation we gave on the Institute Day at the beginning of the year, working with playlists, I'll be incorporating some of those into biology this year. But I'm also investigating things like hyperdocs, online collaboration tools like Lino and Padlet, and some other apps that I've just started learning about in the past couple of weeks. So if you want to talk about how can I make a more blended, personalized approach, even if it's just for one assignment or for one unit in your class, that's really the scale that I'm working at right now. I'm definitely not at the point where I can totally make a class that fully incorporates blended learning, but let's talk about ways we can do it kind of on a manageable scale. I hope as the year goes on, I get a chance to post and blog to our online platform that you'll be hearing more about, some of the ideas that I'm trying in my classroom, some of my successes, some of my failures, and hope to get to do some lunch and learns to talk about the things that I've been practicing. And I hope I get to have some one-on-one conversations with all of you, because I kind of consider all of us to be part of a team. Yeah, I want to try these things on my own, but I want to get feedback. I hope some of you will come visit me in my classroom and I get to reciprocate and come see what you're doing. So that's just a quick few words about myself, why I wanted to become an instructional coach, what I'm hoping to do with it. And I hope I get an opportunity to work with you one-on-one this year, and let's explore some of these things together. Thanks.